Hippos breaking the surface for a breath. Oh, there's a couple of them on this left side here. You can just see the top of the water. Anybody know what we call a group of hippos? The bloat. We also see pink-backed pelicans out here. Pink-backed pelicans get their name because during breeding season their skin turns a pale pink. The pelicans are not in breeding season right now though, that's why you still see the grayish and tan color. You can see the hippo there on the back side of that island. Believe it or not, hippos are one of the most feared animals in Africa, very territorial and very aggressive. An adult male hippo can weigh in at up to 5,500 pounds and still clear up to 20 miles an hour on land. They also grow big tusks in their mouths that they can use to defend themselves and their territory. So hippos are herbivores. They don't want to eat you, but they really don't want you touching their stuff. Oh wow, check out those Nile crocodiles. Nile crocodiles are another feared animal of Africa. They are at the top of the food chain. They have a bone-crushing bite of 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. And at about 16 feet long, full-grown, a Nile crocodile is nearly as long as a giraffe is tall. But we did make it through the river okay today, so we're gonna go out to the savannah. The savannah is a very different ecosystem, it's a very different animal, so let's go see who we can find. Up on our right, I can see a baobab tree. Baobab trees are also known as the upside down tree because it kind of looks like its roots are on the top. That's because the baobab tree remains leafless for up to 9 months out of the year to help it retain water. By not having leaves on its branches, it's not losing as much water through those leaves, so it's able to store more within its roots and in its trunk. And that is why the tree swells up like it does during the dry season. A baobab tree can become its own source of water.
You want protein? I don't like it.
The savannah continues to be one of the most famous and one of the most recognizable ecosystems in all of the world. Animals like lions, giraffes, elephants, zebras all call the savannah home. But unfortunately, it's also one of the ecosystems hit hardest by the effects humans are having on the environment.
It's bumpy. You have to turn off and watch this. If you don't want to
Coming up on our right side here, you'll see some animals with big white horns. Those are Ankole cattle. You also see some furry or brown antelope on our right. Those are called waterbuck. Ankole cattle are also known as Watusi cattle for the Watusi tribe in Africa that first domesticated them. They're the only domesticated animal you'll find out here on the reserve. Their horns could go to be about 4 feet long on each side, and they're nearly completely hollow in the middle, except for a series of blood vessels that run through them because the Ankole cattle circulate their blood externally. That helps them keep cool. The waterbuck, or these brown antelope on your right side here, are known for a very greasy and oily secretion that comes from their skin. It smells terrible, but it's very useful. The oil waterproofs their fur, so you can find those animals in or around watering holes, which can be pretty helpful in avoiding predators. Straight ahead here through the trees, I can see the tallest animal in the world, and that's the giraffe.
Giraffe, yeah.
Giraffes are going to be about 16 to 20 feet tall, full grown. Oh, there's a spotted hyena out here.
There, look.
A couple of them on this left side here. Now, hyenas are a matriarchal animal, which means a group of hyenas is going to be led by a what?
Female.
A female. Strongest and wisest female in the group. Hyenas are so matriarchal that even the lowest ranked female hyena, she still ranks above the highest ranked male in terms of importance. Great, look at this giraffe on your right side, on your left side here. So there are 4 different species of giraffe that live in Africa. The giraffes you see here today are Maasai giraffes, M-E-S-A-I, Maasai. My favorite thing about giraffes are definitely their tongues. Giraffes have what's called a prehensile tongue, and that means they can grip things with it. So a giraffe will wrap its tongue around a big tree branch, and then they can just strip the leaves right off of the tree. It's also very dark in color and very thick, which protects it from the sun and any particularly thorny branches. Did you know a giraffe's tongue can be up to 18 inches long? Anyone know what we call a group of giraffes?
I heard a giraffe.
It's a tower. Now, as you can see, the animals come and go as they please out here in Harambe, so we have to let the Ankole cattle completely cross the road.
Where's the pouchy?
Now we also have white-bearded wildebeest out here. White-bearded wildebeest are these larger, grayer animals. They're responsible for one of the largest animal migrations in all of the world. Over 2 million wildebeest will migrate across Africa every year in search of fresh food and water. We also have a couple of Patterson's eland moving along the left side here. Patterson's eland are the largest members of the antelope family. The adult male is nearly twice the size of the female, at about 6 feet tall and 2,000 pounds. There's a couple of little ones that you can see here. A couple of females up in the brush as well. Now in Coley cattle, that's what's in our path right now. In certain parts of Africa, they're seen as symbols of wealth and of status, leaving these as a part of wedding dowry. So it's kind of like the more important the person, the more head of cattle they'll have.
You know what the boss like called wildebeest?
No, it wasn't. I'll be a volunteer, okay, Mom?
Yeah, he said
But
no.
what's all in?
All right.
We have the big
Oh, yeah.
rooster mounts around us. Those have been brought to you by the letter T for termite. They are termite mounts, and they're made of lots of fun things
Yeah,
like
right?
dung and saliva and mud. They'll bake in the hot African sun, become hard as concrete, and then animals like giraffes and elephants will use them for extra large back scratchers. Now from time to time the animals do get a little distracted what's happening around here, so it looks like we're going to have some members of our animal care team who help monitor the animals out on the reserve. It looks like she's going to try and encourage this cow a little bit up across the path here. And it does look like she's found something a little bit more interesting across the path there, so we'll keep moving. So here on the reserve, we are able to protect the trees and the tall grasses and the watering holes. But out in the wild, the places the animals depend on for food and water and shelter, that is all disappearing. And unfortunately, the animals, they are starting to disappear along with it. That's why it is so important now more than ever to make sure you are recycling your paper, plastic, aluminum cans, trying the byproducts made of recycled materials, and reusing things you already have at home. If I'm the only one doing this, it's probably not going to make a big difference, but if we all try and make that extra effort, it does go a long way in protecting the wild Africa that still exists. Materials like plastic have to be either recycled and reused, or if they're thrown away, they just build up in the environment. They make the animals sick. It doesn't break down, it just continues to build up. But if we're able to recycle those things, we're able to reuse them and repurpose them, which really cuts down on the waste and the amount of garbage building up in our landfills. And that's a win for the animals and our natural environment. Now I have lived here in Africa for quite a while, so I picked up a few things. Mostly funny smells, but a little Swahili. My favorite Swahili word so far, it's the word for giraffe, and that's probably not the word, is twiga. T-W-I-G-A, twiga. Up ahead here, we went through an area nicknamed Monkey Point for a troop of mandrills we can find out here from time to time. The mandrill is the largest monkey in the world. The alpha mandrill can be up to 100 pounds full grown. So we're going to take a look out here real quick, see if we get a peek at a mandrill. Oh, I do see a couple of them moving on your left side there. Now you can easily identify the alpha mandrill if you look carefully, because he has those bright blue red markings on his face and on his butt. And that way, no matter which way we look at him, we know he's the boss. Do you see him? There he is. Oh wow, looks like there's an African elephant out here. We're pretty close to elephant country, and I know a shortcut that should take us right out his way. So let's go get a little bit of a better look. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is really awkward, you guys. I am so sorry, but the road I wanted to take us down, it's closed. Looks like this is the best we're gonna get right now. Now this is probably an adult male elephant, or a bull elephant. And I know that because he's by himself. The adult male elephant is a very solitary animal. He's truly only interested in joining herds with females during breeding season. Apart from that, he spends most of his time alone. And looks like he collapsed the road and make his way across the savannah. These old African roads can't handle 11,000 pounds like they used to. Alright, well, I love an adventure, so I think we'll just take a detour. I mean, Hakuna Matata, right? No worries. Yikes. Alright, well, there is good news and there's bad news. The good news is I have seen bridges far worse than this one. The bad news is I have not been over any of those bridges. Oh, it doesn't sound very good. I'm really sorry. We're just going to take it nice and slow here. Just kind of see how many thoughts. Oh my gosh! Oh, believe in the fly! Oh, my tires get over. I'm safe. Crushed it. Hang in there. I got to bring back at least half of you to keep my job. I see lots of tusk marks and footprints out on this red clay, and elephants have been known to use red clay as a source of vitamins and minerals. They knock loose with their tusks and they eat it. Kind of like you take a daily multivitamin. We can tell a lot about an elephant from the size of its herd. Remember that adult male elephant, very solitary. So if we see more than one elephant gathered together out here, we'll know it's adult females and they're young. Elephants, like hyenas, are a matriarchal animal, so the herd is led by the strongest and wisest female. And then elephants within the herd will share responsibilities of raising the young and protecting one another. They live in familial groups, so it's not unusual to see multiple generations of elephants living within one herd. After a 22-month-long pregnancy, an elephant gives birth to a 300-pound calf, and then that calf stays with mom for about 13 to 15 years. So elephants have the longest pregnancy of any mammal on Earth, but it's only the second longest childhood because that's second to what? To humans. Unfortunately, elephants face a number of dangers in Africa. Not only are their habitats being destroyed, but elephants are still hunted to this day for their beautiful ivory tusks. Elephants are slaughtered for their ivory, and that ivory is sold to highest bidders for souvenirs and decorations. The good news is that we can completely eliminate that market if we work together. We must refuse to buy products in any way, shape, or form made of ivory, and encourage our friends and family to do the same. Many people do not realize exactly where ivory comes from, but I'll promise you right now that anything made of ivory has come at the expense of an elephant. I see some greater flamingos out in this watering hole. Greater flamingos are the lightest pink of all flamingo species. Although any flamingo first hatches, it is so not pink, more of a grayish-black color. It takes about a year of eating brine shrimp and other crustaceans, rich in a protein called beta-carotene. And it's a buildup of beta-carotene that will eventually turn their feathers pink. Do you know what we call a group of flamingos? It's a flamboyance. These horns and ivory out here to serve as a constant reminder to us that poaching is an ongoing battle. It is heavily funded and not nearly as publicly known about, because many people don't even realize that poaching is still an issue for animals, but unfortunately we know that it is a threat to animals in Africa every single day. Elephants and rhinos are hunted for their tusks and for their horns. Cheetahs and lions are hunted for their coats. And that's why we continue to bring folks like you to this preserve, because we believe in seeing these animals in person that truly connects you with them and ultimately teaches you how to care about them. It's more than seeing them in the pages of a book or on the TV screen, but we hope being here today encourage you now to start spreading some messages of conservation and education on a more global scale. Look to your left, laying right underneath the tree, there's a cheetah. Cheetahs are the fastest land animal in the world. They can reach speeds of over 60 miles an hour. They hunt primarily during the daytime instead of cover of night like a lion or a tiger. One of the cheetah's most helpful adaptations is its non-retractable claws. Cheetahs keep their claws out all the time. That helps them grip the dirt better, like an athlete wearing cleats.